How can you tell me they're a good Muslim?
Some pretty inflammatory words from Pauline Hanson, saying there are no good Muslims.
Pauline Hanson will always promote division.
You can put hate in someone's heart with that kind of racist demagoguery.
And I think these remarks from One Nation are absolutely disgusting.
She's not fit to lead a major political party.
And she was 100% right.
Who's going to feed you and bathe you and wipe your bum when you're 90, right? Because it ain't going to be your kids. Because if I get my way, they're going to be working on submarines.
First of all, I'm going to use their own language, their own tactics against them. This is highly racist and extremely offensive to third world migrants. All right, folks, this is Harris Sultan. I'm sorry, my voice is going to be very monotonous today because I lost my voice a couple of days ago, so you're going to have to bear with me. So Australia is fighting back, and who's leading the charge? One Nation's Pauline Hanson, who spent nearly 3 decades in the wilderness because Western civilization wasn't ready to understand, and maybe we didn't have enough data to understand that people from hostile cultures, individually, they may be okay, they may be good, they may not be harmful, but collectively, when you import hostile cultures into any culture, in our case, into Western culture, they're not going to integrate and assimilate. And later down the track, when the numbers boost, then they're going to be a direct threat to your own culture, identity, history, and civilization. And that's exactly what we're seeing panning out. Now we have enough data, so there's no excuse for ignorance. Okay, so let me start with this new poll that's come out. Victoria, which has been the most woke state of Australia, has done a full 180-degree turn. This new poll just came out. One Nation has become the most popular political party in Victoria, the most woke state. Labor has been governing Victoria since 2014, okay? And this state had seen brutal COVID lockdowns, and they still didn't budge, and they still voted Jacinta Allen, who is Dan Andrews' successor. So, in my opinion, okay, I'm not a global expert, but I've been watching the US and the UK and Germany and France to a lesser degree, but I've been watching this shift from being a liberal to becoming conservative. I've been watching this transition taking place everywhere in the world, but let me assure you, in my opinion, this is the biggest single turn from being liberal to conservative anywhere in the world. Look at this. Just a month ago, Labor was leading the polls, albeit it was falling in popularity, and there might be other reasons too. So there's a massive corruption scandal taking place in Victoria right now, which could be contributing to that as well. But look at this. Australian Labor Party has lost 11 percentage points and has fallen to number 2 position. And One Nation has gained 26 percentage points. They didn't go to Liberal or National Party coalition. They didn't go to the Greens. They went the opposite. Hard right political party, One Nation, led by Pauline Hanson. Now, let me tell you about Pauline Hanson. Pauline Hanson said something clumsily, and this is why, Pauline, I think you need some training. You need to get your office to contact me. I'll tell you exactly how to handle them. You never say Muslim, you always say Islam. But Pauline Hanson, I get a point what she was trying to say, and she was 100% right. Instead of me trying to paraphrase her, this is what they are saying that she said, and they're going hard at her. Have a listen to what she says. And since that statement, they are absolutely going at her. But just like in the UK and America, it's having the exact opposite effect. She's becoming more and more popular. This poll that I showed you, that just came out yesterday, maybe around the same time or just after this statement. So have a listen to her.
How can you, tell me there are good Muslims?
This was the comment.
Did you hear that? And now look at this report by Channel 10, which is a very woke channel.
How can you, tell me there are good Muslims?
This was the comment that landed Pauline Hanson in hot water yet again.
She's made a political career out of seeking to divide Australians against each other.
So based on that clip, this is how they're reacting.
My heart goes out to the Australian Muslim community,
really?
who many of whom are feeling terrible and feeling scared right now because of this.
Nobody's feeling scared. Muslims don't feel scared. That's a lie.
Horrific increase in racist threats, Islamophobic threats, but also rhetoric from so-called leaders.
Some pretty inflammatory words from Pauline Hanson, saying there are no good Muslims.
Pauline Hanson will always promote division.
You can put hate in someone's heart with that kind of racist demagoguery.
And I think these remarks from One Nation are absolutely disgusting.
She's not fit to lead a major political party.
She's going to lead a major political party, and she's going to have a massive say in the next upcoming election. So the cause a storm in a teacup. What does she actually say? Have a listen to this.
I've got no time for the radical Islam. Their religion concerns me because what it says in the Quran, they hate Westerners, and that's what it's all about. You say, oh well, there's good Muslims out there. Well, I'm sorry. How can you tell me there are good Muslims?
And that's what they took out. She obviously had more to say, and I'll let her do the clarification.
Moderate Muslims in Australia who are, as you put it, good Muslims. But I think we can agree that radical extremist Islam that doesn't support Australian values has no place here. I just want to pick up on...
What did she actually mean by how can there be good Muslims? She was posing a question. Have a listen to this. This is what she meant.
Do you want to correct and apologise for your comments that there are no such thing as a good Muslim in Australia?
I don't know that, Chris. Can you guarantee it? When we've got 18,000 people on Asia Watchlist, who do I know who these people are? How do I know the vetting process of people coming to the country? And it's just not only Muslims. We can have other Australians here that are not Muslim who are not of good character coming into the country. I don't believe that we vet the people enough that come into the country. And I'm concerned about, and I will have my say, and you won't shut me down over this or many other Australians. The highest thing that people are concerned about is security. We are on a probable terrorist threat. We have seen what happened in Bondi. We've seen other terrorist threats here and also lives lost in this country. Islam is the only religion of hate that we see that's happening in the country. Why do I have to be shut down because, I'm concerned about the future of this nation? Why am I shut down? Because I'm concerned I don't want Australia to become like England. I don't want a caliphate across the world that they're pushing for. I don't want to see Sharia law. I don't want to see burqas worn by women. I don't want to see female circumcision. I don't want to see these women having child after child at the taxpayer's expense. And I will keep saying it. So you tell me, whether it is good or bad. I don't know what these people think and what they will do if the numbers grow, as it has done in England and France. At the moment, Germany. It's 4%. But I tell you what, if it gets more numbers than that, Chris, well, then it might be a totally different country.
But I don't want to see good Australian Muslims slurred in this way. I'm thinking of people like Ahmed who did a brave thing at Bondi to save the lives. He saved Jewish lives. And
I met Ahmed. I met him and at the Opera House that night, and I thanked him for his courageousness in stopping that gun.
Now let me solve the good Muslim dilemma. I've said it before. It seems like everyone is conflicted on how to deal with this problem. What Pauline said, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You know what she meant by, I don't want it to turn into England? Have a look at this. This video just is going viral, and videos like these are coming out almost every single week, if not every single day. This is what Muslims are doing in the UK. Have a look at this. This female police officer was called by these Muslims who live in the area called Tower Hamlets. It's just East London, very close to central London, just the eastern part of London city. And it's not British at all. It's a Muslim area, as they would say themselves. They are offended. They call the police because a Christian preacher is doing Christian preaching. That's all. And this is the first time I've actually seen a police officer standing up. That says a lot, because until very recently, until Britain kept bending over backwards in favor of these people to appease them, it kept complying with their demands. But this is the first time. Maybe something is changing in Britain as well, because Rupert Lowe has come out and he's saying, no, we're trying to change the culture in Britain. We're not there yet in Australia, but this is what Pauline Hanson means. Have a listen.
And this is East London. This is Whitechapel.
He said, this is Whitechapel, this is East London, this is a Bengali area, a Muslim area. This guy's saying that Christian preacher should go to Hyde Park, not here, because this is a Muslim area. Keep listening.
He's not offending our prophet. No, I understand. He's not offending our prophet. No, I understand. I understand that you guys don't want to hear it. I would recommend that you just move away and don't listen to him.
Just move away, don't listen to them. This is England. This is London, guys. This is what's going to happen in Lakemba.
You're going to stand here and excuse me,
look at this.
So if we came outside, he's not in he's not in your home. No, but end of the day, this is our community.
This is our community. He's in our area. He shouldn't be preaching Christianity. Okay? This is happening in London, in the UK, day in, day out. This is what's happening in New York. Now they have a Muslim mayor. Look at this. This is Times Square. The United States is huge. Look, women at the back, men at the front. This is a show of force. This is a show of domination. We've got this. This is our area. You people don't belong here. People who are native to the land are not allowed to move around freely on their own land. This is what happens everywhere Islam goes. This is exactly what Pauline Hanson is trying to tell you. This is no time to listen to these politicians. These politicians, have a listen. Look at this clown. These are the same talking points they used in Britain. That, oh, we need third world migrants because the NHS will not be able to survive without third world migrants. Have a listen to this guy.
Voters is who's going to feed you and bathe you and wipe your bum when you're 90, right? Because it ain't going to be your kids. Because if I get my way, they're going to be working on submarines with high-paying jobs so they can afford to own their home that has to be built by someone. And who's going to do that work?
First of all, I'm going to use their own language, their own tactics against them. This is highly racist and extremely offensive to third world migrants, that they will be wiping off bums while white Aussie kids will be working on high-paying jobs like building submarines in Adelaide. You are saying that third world migrants good for cleaning bums, our kids do high-end jobs? That's number one. Number two, that's actually BS. This is exactly the same narrative that they use in the UK as well to justify third world migrants. Look at this. NHS to rely on migrants as government cuts British nurse training. So this is what they do. First of all, they bring in third world labourers, so they destroy the wages, because when a third world migrant comes, he's willing to do something for $10 an hour. Where an Aussie or a Brit, he's already used to a standard wage because he has a lifestyle to maintain. I think I gave you this example in one of my previous videos. I put up an ad on Airtasker, which is our Craigslist, for someone to come and assemble my trampoline. Some lazy, it takes 4 or 5 hours. I saw a lot of replies from third world migrants. You could tell from their names. They were offering to do it for $100, $150. And a few Aussie names were like $400 or $500. I had the luxury. I picked the Aussie because, I had the luxury, I guess. But this is how they destroy that local labor market. We're struggling with bricklayers. We're struggling with gardeners. We're struggling with everyone. It's because they have imported third world migrants who are willing to do these jobs for much cheaper price because they're not competing with the Australian way of life. In one house, 10 people earning, maybe getting welfare payments too. That's number one. And then number two, they actually discourage the natives from doing these jobs. Look at this. They don't want the locals to get trained. And then they say, oh, well, we don't have any nurses, so we got to import people from Africa and the Middle East. This is exactly what they're doing in Australia, guys. I don't know if there's a conspiracy where some people have sat on a table, as people like to say, in WEF or something, or they are just being driven by the ideology of no borders. Some parts of the world are overpopulated. Some parts of the world are not going to be populated enough. So therefore, we have to somehow equally distribute our resources. Maybe that's the agenda. That's definitely the ideology. What they don't understand is, okay, you can spread the population evenly, depending on which country has more resources, but what about their culture? What about their way of life? That's what they want to ignore. That's what they don't want us to see. And that is the biggest threat. If these people did not pose a threat to Western way of life, I'm pretty sure these Western people, they would be okay. But this is what we're importing. Look at this. The Taliban have just allowed their men, not their men, men of Afghanistan, to beat their wives, so long as they don't break bones. That's the culture we are importing. Now, before you say, oh, Taliban are not the true Muslims, every Muslim country allows this because this is what the Quran says. As for women whom you fear rebellion, admonish them and remain apart from them in beds. And then, if she still doesn't listen to you, and beat them. That's the word, daraba. Muslims say daraba and finally strike them. Muslims say, no, beat them lightly, gently. That's exactly what the Taliban said. There you go. That's exactly what the Taliban said. Don't break bones. So this is the culture we are importing. This is the culture that they're telling us to be okay and accept it. Look at this. This just came out of the UK again. Have a listen. Look at this. This is what Pauline Hanson is warning you about. I don't know what they're saying, but they're making Allahu Akbar chants and they're saying something is haram. Okay, we don't need to apologize for our identity, our values, and we don't need to listen to these woke, lefty, even the so-called conservative politicians like the Liberal Party or the National Party. If they are willing to appease Islam, they're anti-Australia, they're anti-West. Islam does not mix with Western civilization. Islam divides the world into two lenses, Darul Islam and Darul Harb. Darul Islam means House of Islam, like Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Bangladesh, etc. Darul Harb means the House of War, which means Australia, Europe, America, Canada. That's why we see them praying in public in front of our landmarks. That's why we see them screaming Sharia in the UK, Sharia in Australia.
Yet, that there is a Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala waiting to be established. We forget that every single day that we live without the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are being dishonored, we are being belittled. The blood of the Muslims have become cheap.
That's why we see their leaders say this over and over again, because they're rallying their troops. So who are the good Muslims and the bad Muslims? So according to Western definition, a good Muslim is the one who integrates and assimilates and does not challenge the authority of the country that he's in. Let's start with Australia, for example. So are they Australian first? Let's ask them this question. Are you an Australian first or a Muslim first? Collectively, 95% of them will always say that they are Muslims first. Not because they think that we're going to destroy Australia, but because that is their ideological position. That's what they've been indoctrinated with since childhood. So when the crunch time comes, the time for them to rise up and try to overthrow our government, not saying that's happening tomorrow, but that is what they're working towards. That is their goal.
The reason why you have to fight them is because they are Jews and Christians. You should fight those empires around you, or those hukumat around you, which are Jew or Christian, until they give the jizya. And then the howness of that is in the hadith. Three options that they're given. Either you give the jizya, or you do this, or you do that. Yeah.
So these are the three options. Either you give the jizya, or you convert to Islam, or you be put to death. That's for Jews and Christians. And for the polytheists, there are only two options, which is either you convert or you die.
We're not apologetic about that point. That is truth. Your religion has to have an expansionist element. Therefore, there is no situation or conceivability of peace being made between Muslims and non-Muslims.
Islam is a warrior religion in many ways, and it's unapologetically so. It's about expansion. It's about
conquest. Is he a good Muslim? Is he a bad Muslim? Our ABC is the ugly woke child of the BBC. Okay, ABC. They're doing propaganda against Pauline Hanson and they're bringing in Muslims. Why don't you bring in people like me? I'll ask them. I'll quote them the hadith. I'll tell them, okay, are you a good Muslim or a bad Muslim? Let's just talk about it. So our understanding of a good Muslim is who doesn't want to do those things that Muhammad Hijab just said, yeah? But Muhammad Hijab is Islamically sound. He did not say a single thing that any scholar can say he's wrong Islamically. Now, some Muslims will say, oh, I don't agree with him. That Muslim is an ignorant. He would say that I'm a Muslim first, then Australian. He would say, yes, Sharia is a good. Ask them these questions, even to those good Muslims. those good Muslims subconsciously agree with these people. They may not agree with on the surface level because it may seem very abrupt or very obnoxious to them. But as I said, when the crunch time comes, you think they're going to stand against their people who know about Islam? Muhammad Hijab can destroy these Muslims in a heartbeat. He quotes them all the time. And he's right. He can quote them verses and the hadith, and he can quote instances from Muhammad's example. What are your good Muslims going to do? They won't do anything. They can't argue with them. What are they going to do? Are they going to become ex-Muslims? No, they won't. So Pauline Hanson needs to obviously sharpen up her skills and always use Islam, not Muslims. I know what she meant. She said that there are 18,000 people on Asia's watch list, exactly how 95% of people on Prevent's watch list were Muslims. 97% of people on our terror watch list are Muslims. Why is it always them? Why is it always them? And I can assure you, Asia does not have enough resources to monitor each and every one of those people. The guy, the Bondi Beach terrorist, he was on a watch list too. Of course, they don't have the resources. Australians, I know one thing that I'm feeling very happy about. They're going to keep attacking Pauline Hanson. Pauline Hanson is going to make some statements which may not be aesthetically pretty, but she is surging in the polls. And there is a clear reason, because we saw Bondi Beach. This is a Sydney mall. Look at this. What you're seeing is happening on a smaller scale in Australia. I encourage every Aussie and every American to go to England and have a look. There are entire neighborhoods. You would not see a single British person there. Single British, I'm not exaggerating. You would not see a single British person there. The video that I played, you can't even go there. Good luck throwing a woman there in a skirt. See what happens. Is that what you want to see in the suburbs of Melbourne and Sydney? Is that what you want to see? This is what Pauline Hanson said about Lakemba.
Whether you're a Pauline Hanson supporter or not, there is right and wrong. And that is the wrong thing to say, because it is just so wrong.
They don't want to go in certain suburbs, and I've been there myself in Lakemba.
Which suburb?
You feel unwanted, you not want to be there. Lakemba. Have you been there?
We have been.
To suggest that people are scared or uncomfortable or unwelcome to go to suburbs like Lakemba is just wrong. I like Pauline Hanson.
Mark Levy, you have no idea what you're talking about. Let me show you what Lakemba is truly like. This is Armin Navabi, an ex-Muslim. And this video is, I think, probably about 7 or 8 years old. Not recent. We've been shouting from the rooftops for a very long time that this is going to happen to Australia. And look, this video is about 7 or 8 years old. Listen to this.
Do you think at some point there's going to be Sharia law everywhere?
100%. This is my goal and every Muslim's goal.
That's his goal.
Do you think
establish Sharia law on earth?
Okay, but when there is Sharia law on earth, then somebody like me should be killed? Because I am a murtad.
It's up to the Amir.
But it's under Islamic law, it says that I should be killed. So you think that's okay?
Law, that's what I follow.
But do you think that's fair? For me, like, let's say you're right, I'm wrong. Do you think it's fair to kill me because I got the conclusions wrong?
If Sharia law states that, then it should be fair for me. There's always a safe haven for you under Sharia law.
No, because you said Sharia law on everywhere on earth, so there's not going to be any safe haven for me. If Islam dominates all of earth,
that's the plan, and you
that's
either
the plan. So where would be my safe haven?
In Islam.
But that would be by force, then, wouldn't it? If my only safe haven is by Islam, and if I don't go back to Islam, punishment is death.
So there's two choices: Islam or death.
Islam or death. This is Lakemba, guys. So these views are held. This guy's clearly saying that he wants Sharia not only in Sydney or Australia, but all over the world. These are the people who live there. And you tell me, there was another video. Look at this. It's a 4-minute long clip, guys. Again, this is a nearly 10-year-old clip. When was this? 2018.
I'm headed to an area called Lakemba in Sydney, Australia. And it's supposed to be a very high Muslim population area, kind of like Markslow or Molenbeek in Europe. I think that in Australia, the no-go zone areas wouldn't be as bad as Europe just because they've got less mass immigration. But I've heard some pretty pretty bizarre stories about riots, about attacks, kind of grooming gangs in Lakemba as well.
Not grooming gangs, but we had a similar incident in 2004 and we nipped it in the bud. Listen to this.
To look at us and find out what we were doing. Men started yelling in Arabic across the street at us. I hadn't even been in Lakemba 10 minutes before someone had tipped off the media.
Look at
And
this.
they came running to combat me and tell me this was a perfectly safe area and I had nothing and no reason to be there. Almost immediately, the media's story was proven to be wrong. As we went to go for a walk to the local mosque, a very high-ranked police officer came up to me and begged with me, do not go there. Speaking.
Inspector Rick Ages from Campsie Police.
Yep.
I've been informed that you're intending to attending the Lakemba Mosque. Is that correct?
I actually have no intentions of attending. I was just planning on walking through the streets and seeing how the culture was here.
Yes?
Yep.
Are you satisfied with that?
Yep.
So where do you intend on walking to now?
I was just going to walk out and check how the mosque was.
Check where the mosque was?
Yep. Would I not be allowed to attend if I wanted to?
I've got grave concerns that you may cause an imminent breach of the peace down there, so I'm asking you not to attend.
Why would I cause a breach of the peace?
Because it's highly religious down there.
Highly religious down there. What does that mean? Do you see that, guys? This is how they've been bending over backwards for decades. This is from 2018. And now they're telling us that, oh, Lakemba is safe. Pauline Hanson is talking from a backside. Do you see that? Who do they think we are? Idiots? This is the respect that they give to the Australian public. My dear Aussies, please wake the fuck up. They are lying to you. It's happened in Europe already. This is just Lakemba, I'm telling you. In Melbourne, maybe Faulkner is not there yet, but it's going to get there as their numbers swell.
Would it be me causing a breach of the peace, or would it be the people there?
Well, your presence may cause them to be, be offensive and
Why?
be objective to your attending there.
Why? Who is she? A blonde woman? A blonde white woman? Her arms visible? Why would they be offended? Why? This is treason. This is treason. The police should be going with her. And anyone who looks at her funny, they should be arresting them.
And so that would be them being offended by me.
Can you not interview me?
No.
The local community walk around here without any fear. I walk around here without any fear.
Right, but I'm a critic of Islam.
Yes.
So I can't be in this multicultural because my culture is allowed to have free speech and criticizes
I understand
Islam.
you have your own beliefs and you're allowed to have your own beliefs. I have no issue with that. I'm asking you not to attend down there because I have a fear that you may cause an imminent breach of the peace. In doing so, you may commit an offence.
Am I allowed to walk through the area?
I'm asking you not to go down.
You're asking me, but do I have the legal right to walk down this area?
At this point in time, no.
I know you're walking away, but I would like to do some interviews. Would I be allowed to do interviews?
No, you're not welcome in there.
No, I'm not. No. Just to do interviews on the street. Am I allowed to?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm asking you not to.
Would I be allowed? Okay, no cameras, nothing. Would I be allowed to talk to people and criticize Islam?
No.
Why?
Because I'm telling you, no. You're committing an offence. Why do you need to do it here?
Because this is a highly Islamic area.
What questions do you intend asking?
Could I not talk to people and criticize Islam?
Question? Why do you want to? Why do you want to criticize Islam? Like I said, if you're inside, I have fear that you're going to cause a breach of the peace.
No, you have fear people will be offended by me.
No, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
And you're committing a breach of the peace. I've given you that warning. And if you do that, you may be breaking the law. Do you understand that?
Yep, I understand it. I perfectly understand. As far as I'm concerned, you have Sharia law here. As far as I'm concerned. Yeah, we'll go to jail if we talk to people. As far as I'm concerned, they have Sharia law here. I was told if I talk to people, even if I put all my cameras away, I can't criticize Islam to people here.
Not even criticize, she can't even go there. So that is Lakemba, guys. And guess what? This is the propaganda Australian mainstream media is churning out. You just saw what Lakemba is like? Shame on you, Channel 7. Shame on you.
At Lakemba tonight with a personal plea to Pauline Hanson to attend the event and walk the suburb streets. It's come from the local undertaker who's used his giant social media presence to issue the invite.
The table's set for one of Lakemba's biggest nights of the year and everyone's welcome, even Pauline Hanson.
Pauline, call to action. I'm waiting for you. Come down.
That's their face for the media, but you saw the other face. You can't go there. I'm pretty sure now I can't go there. I was in Sydney earlier this year, but I stayed in the white areas. Those are the pretty areas. So Pauline Hanson, she did nothing wrong. She said nothing wrong. Maybe she could have worded it better. You should always use the word Islam. The good Muslims are irrelevant. There were good Germans in Nazi Germany too, but they were irrelevant. You only need a few handful of people who are activists, who are determined enough to bring about a change. And those people are already around you. There are literally tens of thousands of people around you. And when the crunch time comes, we know which side they're going to be on. And at that point, we will need Australians to know what is happening so we can crush it when that time comes.